but if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind doing sub of the year.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
And
Um,
this is also I want to talk about sub of the year because I mean sub of the year can mean a lot of things, and the lens you view it through I think gives you
for
your answer
sure.
here because it's like beautiful BJJ. Is it just most impactful? Like what that submission
Right.
like brought you and signified? Is it just like an aesthetic? Is it like a just that some submissions are just beautiful and fancy?
Is it the odds? You know, like what's the least or what's the odds on
Yeah,
least likely thing to happen? You know what I
like
mean?
like
For all these
like
people, like
difficulty of opponent. I mean that may
yeah,
factor
right.
in as well. So yeah, this one. I mean, I think we may end up with some different answers here. I went with, and this may be the category I put the least amount of thought and effort to here. So I'm definitely not dying on any hills. But what stood out to me as a knee jerk reaction was Hernandez over Vieira, Rodolfo Vieira, because everybody, I mean, Rodolfo Vieira's grappling and BJJ credentials. I mean, it's like he's like up there with like the goats of actual like BJJ, and like
Right.
that's so. And then he got submitted by a guy that I mean, I don't think anybody thought he had a snowdrop's chance in hell. Like I think the
Yeah,
odds on him.
DWCS guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, Hernandez. I mean, I actually respect Hernandez as striking. He's a good fighter, pretty good wrestler, but I didn't see him subbing Rodolfo Vieira, and I think even the Vegas odds on the sub was like plus 1,200 or something, if I'm
right.
not
That is,
mistaken.
yeah, that's
It was
exactly
nuts.
right.
So there's a million prisms to view this through. That's how I viewed it, and so I remember us both being just like shocked when that happened, and I think everybody was. I think Rodolfo Vieira definitely was.
I think
I
he
think
was so
Hernandez
gassed that he
was.
just, right. Yeah. Joe
So
Rogan and DC were literally, I mean, pooping themselves.
yeah, dude. So I mean, that's how I went with it. I'm dying to hear how you went with it.
So before I say who I chose, I think it would have been really hard if it was value of who you submit, right? Or like the stakes at which are held, because for Pena or for Moreno, it's they're submitting people that are essentially looked at as giants, you know? And so for them to take them down and then submit either Nunez or Figueiredo
And both
really
of them
hasn't
got
happened either.
belts. And both of
Right.
them earned belts with those
Right.
submissions.
So
Like by
so the
definition, makes that submission valuable.
right. So if the stakes were considered, or if that's what your number one criteria was, I feel like it'd
Yes,
be between those two. For me,
yes.
that's not it. Right. I just
Okay,
wanted to say
okay.
that I
That's
don't
a
think
great.
either of us actually view it that way, but those two probably are how a lot of people look at it, I think.
Quick,
But that's just
quick,
not how I'm at.
quick. I had those second and third. I kind of tiered mine
Oh,
like
okay.
silver and bronze medal on some of these. For those exact reasons, like what the submission brought and who they submitted and the difficulty of opponent. So I did have that second and third, but I didn't value it exactly what you just described. But I just wanted to say I did.
I thought Makashev's was impressive in the way that he did it and the dominance by which he just literally took Drew Dober down, circled up his legs, got to half guard, sunk in an arm triangle, into the fight. I mean, it was almost like a flawless jiu-jitsu performance
He
in a
turned
and
he turned Dover into like a jujitsu practice dummy. Like he
yeah,
just
and it
did
was an
them. And
important, important fight. There were stakes in that fight.
yeah,
But
valid
for
point. I'm
me,
glad you brought that up.
But for me, I gave it to Andre Muniz over Jacare.
Ooh.
Jacare is a highly respected black belt in the jiu-jitsu game. So is Muniz, but the straight arm armbar that breaks Jacare's arm at the
Yeah.
bicep, I thought visually might have been one of the more impressive submissions we saw this year. He did it twice as well. Not
Yeah.
saying that that plays into it, but for me, I at least considered that it was a very well thought out. Didn't just kind of stumble
Ooh.
into it. That's a submission he knows to look for. Um, so yeah, I gave it to Muniz just essentially for
I like that.
the fanciness of it.
No, that's fun, and that makes for fun conversation for the pod. And it's just I love your reasoning behind it, and I love how all the different views, all the different lenses you could view this. Like the Makachev Dober one probably ranked last for me for
Me
the
too.
exact like antithesis, the exact opposite of everything we said about Pena Nunez. Like and like he was like what plus or minus 700 over Dober or something.
Right.
And so it's like it just didn't kind of hit, as the kids say, that just hits different. It didn't hit different at all. Like it hit like super expected and kind of business as usual, but it was super high level. So fair points. But yeah, I loved both of our reasonings. I loved how we laid out. We kind of made an argument for each one, and there's
Right.
this is, I think, this category more so than any. There's not a wrong answer.
Yeah,
I
that's
really don't think, like, maybe Islam Dope is a wrong answer, but like as you said, it's maybe the most like clinical, like
yeah, the
perfect
clean,
one.
how
Yeah,
fast he does it. I mean, it's just the
yeah,
execution is
yes,
prime time. So it's like, do you punish Alabama's defense because they execute so well that the other team can't score? Like, you
yeah.
know,
And I
it's one of those things.
no for sure. Like yeah, no, that's a great analogy. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I go Hernandez over Vieira. I remember distinctly just my jaw dropping and
Oh,
being
me
like,
too.
didn't see that coming. Muniz Jacare, dude, I'm actually really, really glad you picked that one. Like, I don't know why. That's just fun to me. That was a great pick. Like, maybe because I was like mad at myself that I didn't pick it. I don't know. I really like how you
I
went.
just
Yeah,
thought
that
for
was your
me it
choice.
was the most like vicious, but also surprising, but also skillful
What
because it wasn't an
was
accident.
Jacare the second one that he did, or was that the first one? Because I
It was
know
the first one. It was
it
the
was the
first one.
first one. Well, I mean, it just instantly put respect on Muniz's name, and I mean, he retired Jacare. Like, I mean, it's
Right.
not like a nice way to like analyze this, but he made
Yeah, I
Jacare
mean,
hang him up. I mean,
if you
that's
think about
like,
the stakes of it, it was like Jacare's career-ending fight.
yeah, like he sent him home like a
And
legend.
Jacare,
Like,
great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner,
yeah,
like
man.
has that
So
pedigree.